Hello everybody. Welcome to this week's messages for January 8th to the 14th of 2019. And before I get into the reading, I want you guys to know that I am having a sale this week on the Messages from Source reading, which is one of the tarot spreads that I offer. You get $5 off this week only. It ends on the 14th. So I will put all of the details in the description box, and if you're watching on Facebook, then I've already posted about it, so you can check it out on the page. And I also want to apologize if you can hear a leaf blower. Worst invention in the history of mankind. So I hope you got that my audio doesn't pick it up, but I don't know for sure. Hello, I'm glad you're catching me live. I'm happy to see that. Okay, and then this, because I have two cameras going, some of it might be a little bit out of frame, but I'll do my best. And we're keeping it to a Celtic cross. I have some big plans for the February readings, so I'm going to be doing weeklies a little bit more structured. And then don't forget that if you want sign by sign readings, those are available on my Patreon. Whew. Okay, deep breath. Let's see what's coming up today. First oracle card is wisdom. This comes up a lot when I read with this deck. It's all about the information that you've received. I'm also getting that a lot of what you may have learned from this Capricorn new moon is probably going to be integrated this week. It's like you're really coming back online with everything. So we will see just what happens next. Let me pull another card. There's not a lot of other information coming from the wisdom card, just because it is so personal, it is so individual, that it's really yeah, it's just really personal, so there's not much to extract there. Let me see this. All right, let's pull. This is an Empowered Questions card. Why am I doing the things I'm doing right now? Calling your attention back to your why and your reasoning for doing things. Everyone has their own why and focus for taking the actions that you need to take. And I also want to remind you that it might be that there's something that you're not doing, or something that you are procrastinating on. And remember that that also has a function in some way, shape, or form. Even if you're being avoidant around something that you would like to do or that you need to get done, there's probably a reason for that resistance. It doesn't mean you want to give into it, but the whole point of asking that question is just so you can kind of facilitate some understanding of self and contribute to your healing a little bit more. If you understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, if that also includes not doing something. So just remember that there's always a reason why you're functioning the way you are, and your only responsibility is really to understand why and then align your actions with what it is that you actually want. Let's see what's in the central position. Daughter of Pentacles, so planting new seeds and it's like getting started right. So it may have been there was a little bit of cleaning house energy at the beginning of the year, and then this is where you're starting to plant new seeds, starting to initiate new things. This is equivalent to the Page of Pentacles, so it is about taking action and just getting started. Even if there's only one or two things that you get done this week, it's worth celebrating, because if you're this goes back to what lens are you working with. Are you punishing yourself for getting two things done, or are you patting yourself on the back for getting two things done? Remember that if you're in a state of self-punishment, no matter what it is that you do or no matter what action you take, it's actually going to make it even harder for you to build off of that, where if you're celebrating as much as you can and you're doing your best to just honor the steps that you're taking, whatever those may be, it's going to be a lot easier for your body to move through that. It's going to be a lot easier to get things done. So just consider what energy you're bringing into the actions that you're taking, and whether or not it's you have an encouraging voice or you have a punishing voice. Now, the crossing energy is the Tower. This is what I was just talking about, that clearing out the muck is necessary for planting new seeds. Maybe there is a really rough barrier in between where you are now and what it is that you want. Maybe there is a limiting belief or a story that you have on repeat that really needs to go. That's what the Tower is helping you with. Remember that each and every card in tarot is designed to support you. It's designed to help you navigate whatever it is that you're going through or working with. And so that's what this is here for. It's like, hey, declutter so that you can start doing the things that you actually want to or you feel aligned with. So the Tower is just reminding you, purge what needs to be purged, or the Tower is going to take care of it for you, and that's not always comfortable. So it's better to be on top of this and be a little bit more proactive. And let's see what's shifting out. This is going to help give us a little bit more context. You have the Six of Swords, so moving on to, or moving into more of a grounded space. Now the original, if you look in like a normal tarot deck, the way this is depicted is really through being in rocky waters and then moving into calmer land, dry land. And so this is just reminding you that you might be in the middle of the rain, you might be in the middle of a storm, you might be in the middle of a dip, maybe in your mood and your energy levels or in your perception of what it is that's happening, but that either it's already passed or you're still kind of in the thick of it. So wherever you are in this process, just know that it's like you are getting towards dry land. It's just going to require your active participation in order to get to the next step. So, oh, and that's what the Daughter of Pentacles. The Daughter of Pentacles is very action-oriented, and so it's kind of like if you just sit on your hands, it's not going to be a good move this week. This is something where you want to move as much as possible, get as much done as you can. Again, if that's only one or two things, then done is better than perfect at this point in time. But just remember that movement is the remedy here. And then the oncoming energy, we have the Seven of Rods. This is burning bright. So I think you kind of get your mojo back after this week. It might just be an off week. It might be a transition week. Remember, this is all about integration. And that new moon was, everyone deals with it differently, but it was a really big wake-up call for people. So there was a lot that got cleaned out. There was a lot that moved around, and that was all for your benefit so that you can really step into this space and just own what it is that you bring to the table. Now, it's also one of those things where if you're in a space of, I don't have anything to bring to the table, then that's the task, right? Is working your way out of those mindsets. So it's just so that you can shine a little bit brighter, you have a little bit more breathing room, you have the capacity to really step into what it is that you're desiring. That's kind of what this is all building up to. But you can't carry around dead weight with you if you're planning on getting here. The outward manifestation this week is the Two of Pentacles. There's always a decision to be made, whether that be yes, no, this or that, good or bad. It's all up to you when it comes to this. So when you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to another. Be conscious of that this week. It's all about the decisions that you're making, and every decision that you make is communicating to the universe, God, divine source, whatever you like to work with, that you're either on board or not on board with something. So you're going to get more of the things that you're making decisions that you're in alignment with. So this is a good time to look at the scary stuff this week. I think you have the energy to do it. And remember that if you kind of dive into the things that are uncomfortable this week, you're going to clear them out faster, and then you can just kind of move on and feel a lot better about your situation. So especially around financial stuff, like if there's some financial stuff that you haven't been wanting to take care of, then I'd do that this week. And then in the subconscious, we have temperance. It is balancing out. It is evening out. Sorry, I'm moving all over the place. I'm trying to get it in both cameras. Your internal state actually looks pretty good. It's just that when you feel yourself swinging to one side of the pendulum, maybe like the extreme positive might look something like denial, right? If you're overly positive, it can actually be denial of your emotions or denial of the situation at hand, and you don't want to hang out over there, because that's how things get yucky. And if you're all the way on the other side of the spectrum, maybe it's just really feeling like you can't get yourself out of the hole that you're in, or that a situation is intractable in some way, shape, or form. But that's where it's kind of like, be skeptical with whatever perspective you have until it feels truly in alignment with your body. Because if you're feeling awful, if you're feeling miserable, remember that that's not actually in alignment with your body. That's the opposite of alignment with your body. So you can get yourself here, but remember that you have to be participating in it. Now, the advice for you this week is the 8 of Cups. There are 50 different ways you can look at a situation. So which way are you deciding to look at it? Perception is so much of your experience. So remember that your lens, in one shape or another, is going to modify what it is that you're receiving energetically, what you think and feel about different situations and circumstances. So be open to challenging yourself this week. And if you feel a scary thought coming on, if you're really in a fear-based mindset, just ask if it's absolutely true. Like, that's the best way to start, is it absolutely true, or is it something that might be true? If it's might be true, then, which it more than likely is, then you can have a little bit more skepticism with it. And that's honestly, all you need is skepticism in order to shift something and to breathe into a different possibility. So I like that tool. And then the external influences, we have the Hierophant. Boundaries, structure, and organization is going to be helpful for you this week. Whatever that looks like. Maybe it's putting boundaries around your bedtime, or it's kind of getting down to brass tacks and taking action wherever it is that you need. It could be setting boundaries with a person. This also looks like if you're wanting to like resolve anything with an institution, with a school, with a bank, with anything like that, it's a good week to do that. I think it's just, remember the last of the muck needs to be cleared out. So any correspondence with people of an institution or something that you would like to move forward with is going to go well this week if you are willing to do the work and get the ball rolling. So that is also available to you. Then we have hopes and fears for the week. We have Father of Swords, both a fear and a desire for independence. This looks like you kind of have an understanding of what it is that you're wanting and needing, and then the execution piece is probably where you're like, do I involve others? Do I not involve others? Do I do this on my own, or do I integrate a little bit more involvement from the people that care about you? So this looks more like a desire. There's something about desire that's coming up here. Like, what is it that you do want? How do you want to handle this situation, these circumstances? Is it something where you feel like you need to carve your own path and do it solo? Or is that something that you could really practice asking for help this week? even if that scares you. So just feel into what makes more sense for you around your autonomy and independence, and then take action accordingly. And yes, to answer your question, I do sign-specific readings on Patreon, so you can check that out if you want to know what's up with Sagittarius this week. And the outcome for the week is the Nine of Swords, really confronting fears this week, because this is the fear-based card of tarot. Just like, oh gosh, I'm worried about all those things that could and might happen, and that's what this is helping you clear out. The outcome, this being in the outcome position isn't this is what's going to happen, all of your worst nightmares. The Nine of Swords in particular is all in your head. That's one of the things that I love about it most, is it's not real. It's not in reality. It's not based there. It's not living there. It's not on the physical plane. And that's one of the gifts that this brings as well. So make sure you are just knowing that when you're scared, I've said this once and I'll say it again, you can be really scared, you can be thinking about all the worst case scenarios, you can have all sorts of anxiety, and things can still go well. Thinking bad thoughts is not going to ruin your manifestations, or, I mean, if they're chronic, that's different, but having one passing thought that's fear-based isn't going to derail your whole life. So I hope you hold on to that. And then to pull another one, I'm just going to clarify this. I feel bad leaving this here. I know it scares people. So, okay. And then we have Nine of Rods. So remember that all of the things that you're doing this week or not doing this week are contributing to pace and forward movement for the good and bad. So it's kind of like if you sit on your hands this week, you're not going to see as much movement in the coming months. If you take a lot of action this week, you're going to see payoff happen as a result. So just know that even the purging of your fears, the shifting of your mindset, the being skeptical, this is a really work-intensive week. This isn't, it's like you're not getting a break right now, but there's something about this that's really going to set you up in the right ways for the coming months. So use it to your advantage however you need to. If you're being given some space, capitalize on it however you need to. If you are busy and moving things forward, then capitalize on that as well. And then as usual, it wouldn't be a true solid reading if we didn't do a 3-card pick. So you can ask for guidance, you can ask a specific question. Card number 1. We have the Tower. Burning it down. That really is what needs to be done this week. It needs to be cleared out. You need to get rid of all the cobwebs. You just have to get through it. And remember, the faster you rip the Band-Aid off, the easier it's going to be. So this is more about like the questions that you need to ask, the things you've been ignoring. The longer you ignore what needs to be addressed, the more it's going to scream. And so that's what you really want to, I don't mean to laugh, it's just focus your attention there so that you can experience the relief of getting it done. But I know that sitting and not taking care of things kind of can bring you temporary peace. Just know it's not going to stay that way forever if there's something you need to take care of. Card number 2. Whoops. I don't read reversals, so don't worry about that. This is the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles. Good money week. This seems to be like you're really able to get the funding that you need, or some of the contacts that you make this week, or some of the decisions that you make this week are really going to be for your financial benefit, for your financial growth. This is very resource oriented. The week is very resource oriented for you, however that looks in your life right now. But all in all, really great if you want to make some financial moves. This would be the week to do it. Move some money around if you need to, and just to create a budget, do things that are really supporting you financially, and you're going to see that that really sets you up for success. And then we have 10 of Cups. All right, beautiful. So this is having a reason to celebrate. Now, this is at your discretion. It's one of those things that I think this is really up to you when it comes to the decisions that you're making. Remember, I don't know if I said it on a weekly reading or something else, but it's kind of like the 10 of Cups isn't free every time. Like a lot of people, if you're experiencing like resentment towards happy people, or seeing if you're in any space of comparison when it comes to your healing and your human experience relative to someone else's, know that a lot of people who are the most fulfilled have also walked through the most pain and the most suffering. So it's not always a necessary condition, but please understand that like when you're really working towards fulfillment, you have to work through a lot of the mess. And so I think that's also something that you can hold on to, is like if you're doing your work internally, then this is always accessible to you. It's not something that's conditional on someone up in the clouds that's pulling the strings. It's something that's, available to you internally at all times. It's just that you don't want to forget about that, or it can be really defeating and disempowering. All right, so just remember, you can always get this. Just make sure you're feeling into alignment. As I like to remind you guys, pay attention to what your body wants and needs, what feels good, what feels bad, and this is how you'll get there faster. But that is all that I have for now, and I wish you all the very best. Don't forget, if you would like to get a Messages from Source reading, the code is Worthy. I'll leave all of the info in the description box. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can go to onyxhealing.com and check everything out. And how should I wrap this up? I'm in full agreement for whatever needs to happen this week when it comes to your wellness, your finances, whatever it is you have going on, that all that's in your highest good will present itself to you in prompt time. Okay, that's all I have, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.